Welcome, everybody. And yeah, it's been a little while. So here's the deal. Obviously, I originally planned to do a whole bunch of videos as I went on vacation at the end of last year. Then that didn't happen, and then life got in the way, and then here we are, a few months later, without no content, basically since then. Which, that has happened before. I'm sure it'll happen again. But I've been sort of thinking and looking over things and thinking about what we should, can, and maybe will do in the future. So I want to do. Obviously, the first thing is like I left things on such just a weird place in the big WWE save that it's like I'm not going to leave that be, because again, TEW 2020, it's the game I play the most. It's the game, that save is the save I've enjoyed the most. So the reality is, I'm not gonna give up on that. But the thing is, like, I want to get the focus back for doing stuff on this channel. And the problem was, like, it was too easy to just not do a video. So I needed to set a goal for myself to get this, finally see if I would actually get things done. And even if I didn't meet the goal, that I would at least try my best to meet it. So here's the deal. Starting on May 1st, which, because it starts on a Monday, is good timing to restart the whole thing. Thank you, calendar. I'm going to do my all out best to put a video up a day. May 1st, May 31st, a video a day, just of some past series, some new series, some other stuff, some current series, some old series. I'm sure I said stuff twice there. Because I think the thing is, like, I like TW, obviously. Like I said, probably my favorite game. I mean, I probably have like 8 zillion hours to get it. It's good. Steam doesn't have an hour count for it because I'm not playing it via Steam, obviously. But so, what's the plan then? Okay, so for the first one is of course the big WCW. We're deep in 2005. It's a totally different wrestling world, and we're on the road to Slamboree 2005 and basically the show after this. So obviously, that's the first thing. Well, after this video, that will be back in charge. Is we will be basically getting that back on track, getting new videos. Actually, like whole month, it's going to be the go home show, Slamboree, then we'll get Great American Bash, possibly half year stuff, and then something possibly very interesting after the half year as we start things up. So that's the first thing, is just getting that on set. So then there's the question of my other series. So first, well, I guess second actually, there's the series, which got 2 episodes and then a whole lot of nothing. So yeah, just terrible timing, obviously, but it's not dead. It was something I was actually enjoying, even with me probably picking the worst possible data to do so, and a lot of other fun stuff. But the idea of Cody, like doing ROH, especially now that like there's been a little more time, so I'm not like won't catch up to reality as soon enough. But yeah, so that'll be continuing as well. Obviously, not as continuing as the other ones, but still something I do want to do. Continue because I was enjoying it. I just got caught up in it behind it with everything else. But I do want to continue this series, with Cody in charge of ROH in 2022 instead of going to the WWE. And of course, there's the New Japan series, which here's the thing. I liked it, but it was very tough doing the house shows. I think if I come back to it, what I would have to do is a lot more I guess the wording here is a lot more like edited, where like I'm booking the show still, and I might even like be booking a lot less where I'll just like edit the schedules to where I'm basically doing a whole lot of just like the major road 2 shows, and that's it, instead of like all 22 shows each tour has, and then showing the big, like the big your dome shows, G1s, Dunk 2s, Dominions, whatever the names were back then, and going from there. Because honestly, like I could tell you how everything is being set up because it's still New Japan 2005. It's not the most complicated stuff, it's being set up. Because again, I like the pushes and stuff I was creating, even though seemingly half my roster was getting injured every other show. But I still really liked it, and these sort of like slightly different things they're popping up, including Goldberg showing up, and all that stuff. But if I did it, it would have to be, I think, a slightly different style, as far as doing it again, because honestly, like that was like it was something where I wasn't like I was enjoying it, but not as much as I should when it's just a game. So those, of course, were the main three things I was doing at the time. The question is, what else can I do? Because obviously, I'm not going to fill up a whole month with just these three series, as much fun as that might be. So, what's going to happen probably is, of course, we're going to do some possibly new fun series involving your friends and mine, with the various databases I have. So, the thing is, there's always sort of the split. So, there's possibility of Cornelverse stuff, and there's a possibility of non-Cornelverse stuff. Some of these databases are stuff where I've imported their stuff, so, but like I do have a lot of like sort of different starting points. We got Fleisch's 1992 data, we got the Shifting Sands from 2006. We have all the possible Cornell verses. Cornell verses 77, 2010, 97, 05. I've got default data plus all the additional stuff I've added. So, the Ruthless Aggression, Territory Days from Mammoth. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is, at least with TEW 2020, is actually what's the wording I'm looking for here is um yeah, probably, well, okay. So what I'm probably be doing after this is sort of like as a sort of lead up to the hopefully like sort of reboot of the channel on May 1st is putting up some polls on the actual channel under the community tab. Just add some pollings for stuff, what sort of stuff people want. I'll probably figure out some Cornellverse and some non-Cornellverse stuff for you guys to vote for, and then we'll go from there. Obviously, it'll be limited stuff that I'd be interested in doing at all, because, like, obviously I don't want to be doing anything. I might also be doing some other stuff. So speaking of that other stuff, so obviously TW20 has been all what's been on this channel. But there is other stuff, obviously, I like playing with. No, that was bad wording. That was terrible wording. I like, what other games I like playing. So obviously, there's the other big obvious one here. Yep, Journey of Wrestling. Obviously, it's another wrestling booking sim, but hey, that's my bread and butter, obviously. Well, not any bread or butter, since I'm not getting paid for this at all, but stuff that's been on this channel. And the thing is, like, JOW is a little more simpler, but it's also a little more wacky and fun. Like, it has its obvious downsides, but for like the more, like, I would say, complicated areas of wrestling, it can be a little easier just because, like, there's not all the extra stuff. Obviously, like, that's some stuff that I actually enjoy, but it's other stuff that I like. Like, to be perfectly honest, like, booking, any even like as early on as like mid 2000s WWE quickly gets confusing, is times consuming as hell, because you're booking 2 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, dealing with all the developmental stuff and all that fun stuff. So, like, I might try a new Journey of Wrestling save, because, like, at the moment, I've got some interesting saves already, which I'll probably have to delete one. But basically, I'd have to look over what's available as far as possible game datas that they have there, and go from there. But that's something that I'm looking into. But then, moving on from just wrestling is, of course, other sports. And a game I spend way too much time playing is Basketball GM. For those of you who don't know, it's sort of a online browser sim that's actually pretty damn good. Like, you can have, like, just random players, new players set and starting point in any time in the league. Starting from basically now back to the first days of the NBA, to any time in between. You have random players, custom stuff. You want to do 2-on-2, 200 games, first people, all sorts of stuff. You can do all sorts of fun stuff. I usually just end up doing it to sort of like replay history, just to see who becomes a star, who doesn't. But that could be something else I might pop up here as sort of like a palate cleanser, between everything else. So another game I've actually been playing off and on since it got released, and I've actually quite enjoyed, is WT2K23. The thing is, the only thing I've been really playing is the mode. And obviously, again, it's not advanced as TEW 2020 or frankly, even Journey of Wrestling, but it is fun only because of the wacky stuff the AI does, the weird like restrictions you're put on, who becomes a star, who doesn't. And it's interesting to have like sort of honestly kind of a better financial model than TW 2020 has. Like I'm more often thinking about money more than I usually do with any like type of major company saving TWW ever. So I mean, again, like the upside of it is like it is a 2K3, 2K23, so I might be get to a little more, but I'm not doing like actual play on it because look, there's a reason. I'm in, by online standards, an old man who has no hand-eye coordination, so me playing the games would not be useful for anybody actually watching. But I think like doing some a playthrough of a MyGM mode where I have some like wacky like reasons, like maybe just playing it all, where I have to only play with the sort of the creator wrestlers that show up as jobbers and like creating a card out of that, or seeing like if there's any wacky creations, or like just playing a regular game. Maybe just play WCW, but only use legends of WCW people, or people who could have been in WCW at the time. Fun stuff like that. That's something I'll think about pulling up. And then so there's all two other things that are really off the rails. Because even well, I guess it's not well, I guess it's sort of connected, but also not. So a truly interesting thing I could do here is play Victoria 3. Again, I'm not good at it. Like you can see, I have 13 hours in it. I have a little more time in Crusader Kings 3, which I might also play. But like I'm not one of those people who can have do a world conquest with random country in Africa in 9 minutes. Yay. I'm a guy who honestly is probably who has issues even playing like the actual normal game at the normal like difficulty level. That shockingly, it turns out, if you don't play 9,000 hours of games, this game's kind of tough. But it is something I have enjoyed playing. And I think like could be something on the side that people might enjoy me playing. But like that also like obviously these games are SOB on graphics cards or on computers at times, so I'd have to see if like I could actually do it running. And I mean, so far it's been fine, but I don't know if I would be able to actually do it soon. I would just have to I'd have to just figure that out. But yeah, either this or CK3, which I'm almost have played a full like game with Ireland. Because again, I know people who have like 8 billion hours in those games already, but like I play TW a lot, I play other stuff, so I like and I obviously do other stuff, which is why I haven't been online here. But again, you guys don't want to know my life; you want to know what's going on with this stuff. So that's sort of the deal. And one other thing is, I'm thinking about going back on Twitch, which I did like fuck. I mean, this would have to be like right as TW20 was coming, so this is like years ago. And just going back and actually doing some actual streaming again with TW 2020. Because obviously, like the problem, like the big thing here is there's not that many people playing this game, either on YouTube or just in general. Well, just in general, I'm sure there is, but like on YouTube or on like Twitch anymore. Like and people are great, and obviously they're doing it a ton. But I think like the people who are doing it online are like sort of doing the same thing. So I think it would be fun to possibly play something like a Cornellverse save or play through a save on Twitch, just to see how people enjoy it. The upside of a real world save on Twitch would be, obviously probably more people would watch than me, doing a playthrough of random Cornellverse, game part 92. So yeah. But again, to sort of finish off this rambling mess, big thing is, without a doubt, two main series are coming back to WCW and Cody ROH. I'll be doing other stuff. I'll be putting some polls up on the community page for people to vote in, just as just so you can see. Again, that's not a guarantee. Basically, it's going to be sort of a pilot season over this next month, starting on the 1st, just to see what stuff actually gets interest and what stuff doesn't. Obviously, If something explodes, great. I'll continue doing it. If something doesn't, and I'm doing this now. It's sort of like a put a flag in the ground to sort of like give myself a goal and give myself something to be accountable to. Also, just like some time to like bring some stuff up because another thing that was happening is I was entirely too much doing stuff right before the previous night, having to do the actual booking, the recording, and then do the graphics the next night. But at least with this, I'm giving myself at least a little bit of leeway, and then we can go from there. So I don't know. I don't know how many people even got to the end of this. So if you are, hey, subscribe to the channel. I'm sure there's been people who have come across this who have seen I haven't updated in months. Hopefully you come back. But hey, if you're a person who's watched my videos a lot, thanks for the support. I'm sure I literally have not looked at my metrics since like January, so I'm sure like it's been just a complete mess. But hey, what can you do? But yeah, that's it. Like I said, at the very least, like, I planted, flag in the ground, I just said a minute ago. I want to do May's 31 days. I want to do 31 days of videos, and then we sort of like can restructure things after that. Like obviously there might be things that hit, some things that are total failures, and that's just how it goes. But I want to try because it'll give me a goal. Because honestly, just like another part of this is in my real life, my real life job will be going back to the office more like will be more often. And the weird thing is like when you're just sitting in front of the same, not the same computer, but sort of the same desk all day, you get like it's makes it really tough like to actually it's way too easy to get distracted and then just not do anything at all after that because like you've already worked there's already the feeling I've sat in front of here and done work all day, so why do what could be in theory work when I could just like look at YouTube or whatever. Anyway, that's a bit of a rambling mess, but again, if you've listened to this / watch this, thanks for the support. Subscribe if you've enjoyed stuff and are glad I'm back. Put a comment down if you're glad I'm back. Vote in the polls, all that fun stuff. But regardless, that's for now. Check later. Have a good one, and adios.